Okay, hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Brad Gottschall, and I am the Lower Paxton Township Manager. And in typical fashion, I'm going to give a very brief summary of this evening's agenda, particularly for the benefit of those who may be watching at home on television. This evening is a business meeting of the board. They have a number of action items on the agenda, to include, under old business, adoption of Resolution 2024-03, which relates to damage done to mailboxes during certain public works storm remediation efforts. Then following that, under new business, the board has a number of items to include action to appoint Amber Booth Heschler as an alternate to the Planning Commission. Next, the administration of the loyalty oath to a number of members to the Colonial Park Fire Police apparatus. Following that, the board will take action to approve a catastrophic losses reimbursement request for the Colonial Park Fire Company. Then following that, under subdivision and land development items, the board will take action to reaffirm a preliminary and final subdivision and lot addition plan for 2150 Parkway West. Following action on a preliminary final subdivision and land development plan for Weiss Markets, and then take action on the improvement guarantees, the payment of township and authority bills, and then finally hear any lasting announcements. With all that said, members of the board are seated and prepared to conduct business. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting to order for the Lower Paxton Township Board of Supervisors. Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Ms. Thompson.
Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'd like to announce that the board did meet in executive session prior to the meeting, and we will be meeting in executive session after the meeting. Do I have a motion for the approval of minutes from the December 19th, 2023 business meeting?
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
You want to turn on your mic so they can hear you? Okay.
I make a motion to approve the aforementioned minutes.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. At this time, we'll have public comment. I ask if you are coming up for public comment that you are commenting on nothing that is on the agenda. If your comment has to do with what is on the agenda at that time, then you will be able to comment on it. Do we have any public comment at this time? When you come to the podium, could you please state your name and your address, please?
Hi, my name is Stephen Roth, 2405 Kensington Way. I'm not sure if the board is aware of issues that we're having with Penn Waste. Essentially, they don't show up when it snows. The Public Works Department has done a great job in clearing roads by 8 o'clock every morning. Penn Waste chooses to not show up. We get emails from Penn Waste saying they're not coming. We are told that they're going to pick up our garbage in the following week. We're still limited to one can. They're keeping our money and not offering us any kind of reimbursement for those services. I'm not sure if you all are aware of that.
Yes, we are. And I was one of them also that didn't get the garbage picked up. We are
And
aware
it's
of
been
it.
twice.
Yeah, we are aware of it. We are working on the communication with the staff at Penn Waste. We were told that this past weekend that the incinerator was not going to be opened. And they should have forwarded that to the residents of the township to let them know that was the reason why. The Penn Waste is also a corporate company, and they go by regions. And unfortunately, we're in part of a region where we might not have hardly any snow at all, but other parts of that region might have 6 or 7 inches. So I'm going to further this to Mr. Gottschall if you want to add anything else to this. You've talking with the staff at Penn Waste.
Madam Chair, that pretty well sums it up. The only thing that I would add is the fact, unfortunately, that when Penn Waste does make a decision to either delay or suspend collection, they do so in consultation with some other of the big haulers in the region. They don't just make this decision kind of in a vacuum. No, that doesn't answer your question or make that sting any less, but the hauler does not make that decision lightly. In making a call like that, they are really actually affecting their own operations just as much as they are those customers that are affected. They have to collect double the amount of trash next time. So I say that to say that from the hauler's perspective, they do not, have any sort of financial positivity that comes as a result of that sort of decision. So,
Yeah, I would disagree with you on that, frankly. The costs are tipping fees and the service fee. The tipping fees, if they take twice as much trash, great. We're still restricted to 1 can the following week, and my neighbor's garbage is all over the place because they can't fit it. The service fees, they're not paying their crew, and they're not running the trucks on days that they don't show up. That is money going in their pocket that minimally we should get back.
Actually, sir, when they collect double the amount of trash during any span of time, there's only so much accumulation that can be done within a single truck. So they are having to run double the amount of truckloads during a week in which double the amount of trash is accumulated. So I see what you're saying, but in reality, they do have to make the same number of trips, and so they are not making any sort of financial headwind by doing that.
I can tell you in our neighborhood, the following week, they come through 1 time. That's it. So if it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit. And minimally, we should see some of that. We're storing our own trash. We should see. And I understand that there's a contract and you all are living with this as well. But in the waste management days, and Mr. Gottschall, you and I spoke several times.
Yes,
then,
sir.
And I was on first name basis with the regional VP there. If you called waste management, I got my $5 back. And any of our neighbors who called waste management got their reimbursement back. I'm only asking for something comparable, even if they take out the service fee and keep the tipping fee.
Yeah.
All right, well, I don't want to beat it to death, so thank you very much.
Well, and the question that got to me a couple times this week, too, was, don't you have a clause? So I do want to let you know that we do have a clause if they don't pick up the yard waste, if they don't pick up, trash on the regular basis, but there is no clause for snow. So Brad is working with Joel, our representative from Penn Waste. We're hoping that we can get some more communication out to the residents. So as Brad works on it, we will definitely get back to you. But thank you so much for coming tonight and speaking.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there anybody else that would like to speak under public comment? Yes, sir. And again, your name and your address, please.
Dale Staley, 2414 Abbey Lane, a neighbor. I would like to ditto those same comments because we have experienced the same sort of situation. It's happened twice. The circumstances seem somewhat familiar that the city incinerator was not closed, or they weren't sure whether they were going to open. We got mixed signals, but the bottom line is the trash pickup did not happen the second time. We have no room physically for more trash unless we put it into bags and store it in our garages or whatever. They simply said, well, when the time comes next week, if your can is full, put it in a plastic bag and put it out on the street. Well, the perimeter of the township has a lot of wildlife that loves to tear into garbage and scatter it everywhere. And I don't want to be responsible for putting something out the night before, which we're required to do, and then have to clean up a mess because Penn Waste cannot get their act together, apparently. So I applaud the same situation, but it's not being dealt with. And they may have 9 inches of snow in York, and they may not want to come up 83, but the roads up here were beautiful. They were wet, no hint of snow anywhere. So I'm a bit angry about it and hope that the powers to be can do something about this. It's not been addressed properly. Never had a problem with their former vendor we had, so, thank you.
Sure. Brad, and I didn't read that about putting the bag out on, on the street. I must have missed it.
To them, they would say,
Oh, if you, okay.
extra out, if it doesn't fit in the can, put it on the
Okay.
ground.
Is there, when they pick that up on the ground, do they use, do they get out of the truck and pick it up, or are they using the arms?
Can't use the arm, it's not.
Well, I would, so this is my question. If, you have an overflow like that, can we talk to Joel and see if they can put the bags in their own trash can? And then they would pick it up, because the Penn Waste trash can is already filled. And to put it on the ground because of the deer, or whatever animals eating it.
You mean, ma'am, if a private resident has an additional can?
Because of the 2
Oh, yeah.
weeks. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, certainly. I mean, Penn Waste isn't advocating you put a bag on the ground. They're just saying whatever extra way in which you can get additional bags out there, do that. So if you have an old trash can
Okay.
lying around, yeah, use that. Everyone
Okay.
would prefer that.
We were asked to turn the old cans in, which we all did. So now we're without cans.
Oh, okay.
It's down to plastic bags, and plastic bags are vulnerable to skunks,
critters,
raccoons, whatever.
Okay. I thought maybe you might have, we just kept a can just for safe. Maybe if you did have, if you just had a can, that you could put it in.
Additionally, ma'am, if I may, again, I'm not a spokesperson for Penn Waste, but just to give some additional context, I mean, the surrounding municipalities have also had the same exact issues with waste management, Republic Services. Our neighboring municipalities did have similar cancellations and delays of service. So this is not exclusive to a Penn Waste issue. And it's because of some of the discussion as stated tonight, such as region-based service allocation, as well as the incinerator issue is more of an issue because, if these haulers are collecting trash, they just simply have nowhere to take the trash. So, if the incinerator's either closed or has a delay start or closes early, that really does impact their route collections. So,
Okay.
We have to suffer the impact of that.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, I agree.
One-way street,
Yeah,
We're taking on the risk.
right,
okay,
That's been passed to us.
and incurring the cost.
okay. All right, and you're going to keep in communication with Joel then? Okay. Thank you
ma'am.
both for speaking, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
William Miller, 4311 Crestview, Lower Paxton. To piggyback on these gentlemen, some of the homeowners, you had settled this, you got the smaller cans. Some people don't have even the room for a smaller can, and I've seen a couple neighbors, they put out the little bags and they're torn apart. So it's a valid reason. A lot of people gave up their cans, I kept a few. So they're gonna have to send, are they even sending a two-man crew? Be much more efficient if they sent 2 guys, they could snag it all and get back. But the cans it is a problem. And technically, with a 96-gallon can, that's going to be 3 big bags or 3 bags of the big bags or 3 regular trash cans that the resident should be entitled to. The other thing I had about the trash was, and I shared this with some people, in the past, and I don't know how my name got on it, I thought it came from the township, there was a database. And when they're going to be late, we all had an email. We knew what time it was going to be, when they're going to come. I called here. I was told to call over to Penn Waste. Penn Waste said, no, we're not doing that. You got to call back at the township. And I did follow up again today, and there is a link on their webpage.
Yes, there is.
But should every single township resident have to go on there and type in all this data? Because I typed it in, and I said, boy, this is nice. It's only 4 lines. It went to this giant page and wants everything but, the birth of my first child. I thought that was a little excessive. Could the township not port, whoever has this data, and they both have the data because the trucks have a GPS, they know what second they were there and all this nonsense. Could they not port that information over and simply, when they decide they're going to cancel, everybody gets it? If they send it to the township on a Friday afternoon and it's going to, or a Thursday, it's going to snow, we'll never see that. Employees here could be gone if it's a Saturday pickup. So there has to be some kind of redundancy in there that this email is going to go out. I just think they're kind of reinventing the wheel, and I got shunted all around. Like I say, I found it. It was short. It was long, and I just think that data. It's a database. We each have that database. You have to for the billing. Have the one we had, send out the information, but I don't know how it was sent out. The other item I want to talk about, I did mention this to anybody, was right now we had a lot of wet snow. I had to physically take my truck with a plow, push this giant branch off the street in front of our house. I just cut it up. All the residents in my association have no place to put it. So where I'm going with is, I would pay you guys extra to take the stuff out there in a week on a Saturday. People aren't going to be ready by the first weekend in April because you got people do seeding, they do liming, they do slit seeding, they do aerating, they do all these things, do their gardens. I have 11 cans of yard waste. The widow next door, I could fill my dump trailer. The big branch, I could fill my dump trailer. There's stuff laying everywhere, and it was an adverse event. It wasn't normal, but I did call surrounding municipalities. West Hanover didn't return a call as usual. But most of them are open year-round. Now, they don't pay a person to be there. They have issues with trespassers. South Hanover just prosecuted a person last week, she told me. The thing is, how can we, I would pay extra. How can we possibly extend the period, a little bit earlier, open up a little earlier, or when we have an event like this, have a few days? Because I called, there's a place called Zager Brothers. I figured I'll just take it down to Zager Brothers. They take it for free. They make tan bark out of it. $75 for a trailer, $25 for a truck this year. Dig My Earth, she won't take it. She has an exclusive contract with Susquehanna Township. So there just has to be a solution to, I'm sure you got some calls about this already. There's stuff just everywhere. And I think people will do the right thing and put the branches in the right spot. But as with the trash, and when I worked in the city, people put stuff where they want to put it when they have to put it to get rid of it. And I don't want to see people going around here and dumping it off the edge of Goose Valley Road like they have, dumping it where you have your signs. It's going to happen. I'm only asking perhaps consideration of a few weekends in March, maybe the second, third weekend. Open it up a little early. You'd have to issue permits early, though. You got to pay a guy to be there. It's logistically, it's going to cost some money, and I'd be willing to pay extra just for those 2-3 weeks.
Yeah. Could we talk to Mr. Knoll and just see his thoughts on that?
Yeah, certainly. Mr. Knoll has taken a renewed interest, I'd say, in the landfill and compost facility. We're really trying to analyze that kind of operation to see how it's operating as a business with regard to the cost of providing the service, and one of the things that we have had a problem with the compost facility is the fact that we just simply can't get rid of the material, and so we're often literally running out of space, and so to expand the service or allow more use of it really would be problematic just from that straight question. But certainly we can you take a look at what we're doing, because actually how do you pronounce it? Ziegler Brothers?
Zager Brothers.
Zager Brothers. The township had been utilizing them to just allow them to come in and take the stuff for free. Please take it off our hands. But they actually just recently stopped because they can't get rid of their stuff. So it's becoming a problem with accumulation of compost materials there. But nonetheless, we will look at at that.
Even when we had a storm like this, it's a unique situation, and, you know, people could avail themselves of a couple of days just to clear off their properties before all this property maintenance. A lot of people do property maintenance, so the guys are coming and there's no place to get rid of it. I've contacted a lot of landscaper buddies I know, only for us, so they're not going to share the wealth on that one.
Right.
Bill, you wouldn't be looking for a part-time job by any chance, right?
Oh, working out there, sitting in the booth.
Yeah, we're always looking for people to work at the
Oh.
compost.
Have a lot of guys out there.
We're always looking.
That's part of the fun going out there, seeing the same guys. It's a social event. I take them water.
Okay. Well, thank you so
Okay,
much. And
thanks.
again, we're going to keep on top of the trash with the communication, and and Mr. Nold is our Public Works Director, so we'll keep in touch with him. Okay. Anybody else? Okay. Do we have chairman and board member comments? Board members? Chris, what did you do on Saturday?
Oh, yeah. We represent the board. We had a nice Eagle Scout service at Faith Presbyterian. Young Mr. Joshua Connolly. His projects were building owl barns, and he's a very impressive young man. His brother, Tyler, I believe, did a Eagle Scout project for Centennial Park, put in a ball pit there. So it's a very impressive family. It was a very impressive afternoon, and thanks for reminding me of that.
Okay, great. And thank you for representing the board. We appreciate it. Anybody else? Board member comments? Good. Okay. Managers report. Mr. Gutschall.
Yes, Madam Chair, I only have one item, other than to say I'm feeling kind of lonely down here this evening.
You can move over here if you
Thank you,
want.
sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Make you feel better.
We do have tomorrow evening at 5:30 p.m. Right here in this room, or actually I think next door maybe, our public presentation on our proposed CDBG plan. Again, that is a public meeting at 5:30 here in this building. And that is my only
Okay.
report.
Can you tell people the CBG plan, what that stands for?
Yeah, the Community Development Block Grant Program. Again, with our 2020 census reaching the threshold of 50,000 people, now 53,000, we have officially accepted our entitlement status with regard to CDBG, and CDBG is essentially an annual grant program to assist the township in remediating concerns of ADA or anything related to low-income housing or accessibility, access to government, things like that. So we are now in the process of putting together our first ever annual action plan for that. And this public meeting tomorrow is to present the plan and solicit feedback.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Our next action is to adopt Resolution 2024-03, amending Resolution 17-16, a formal policy on the replacement of mailboxes damaged by Public Works Department. Our resolution prior to that, we would, if our plows knocked over your mailbox, we would reimburse you with $100. Because of the inflation, we haven't had an increase in 7 years. So we had this on the workshop last week, and it was recommended that we go to $150 if we knock over your mailbox. So if that should happen, you would contact the township. There's a form to fill out. We would come out and look at that mailbox, and then if we felt that it was our fault, that we would reimburse you for the $150. We did learn something, and maybe everybody in the audience knows this. There is a recommendation by the USPS, and Mr. Miller's shaking his head. There is a recommendation, like I said, by USPS, that it can only be so high and that it has to be back so many inches. So I'm hoping to get that in our next sewer insert. That way everybody in the township, residents, will get a copy of that. So, okay, with that said, do I have a motion to adopt Resolution 24-03?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Under new business, action to appoint Amber Booth Heschler as alternate to the Planning Commission. We did have a vacancy on Planning Commission for the alternate, and we had a couple of residents that had applied, and Ms. Heschler was appointed by the Planning Commission. So did you want to come up to the podium and tell us about yourself? Okay.
You can tell us about your trash pickup.
No. Mine's getting picked up, so I'm not going to complain about it right now.
Gotcha.
My name is Amber Booth Heschler. I've lived in the township for almost 16 years now. Mother of 5 boys, a residential real estate agent for the last 8 years, and yeah, that's about it.
Okay.
All right, you got your own basketball team.
I do football, volleyball, marching band, all the above.
Does the board have any questions for Mrs. Heschler?
Not really.
Okay, do I have a motion to appoint Amber Booth Heschler as the alternate to the Planning Commission?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nay?
Nay.
Okay, the next item will be administration of loyal oath to Samuel Swartz, Charlie Spencer, Timothy Stoner, Art Spizak as Colonial Park Fire Police. So if you gentlemen want to come up here, and then when we're done swearing them in, then the board will join us, and we'll get pictures down front. Yeah. Our photographer will tell us where to stand. Mr. Gutschall says to go front here, and you, so just go this way and turn around.
I can get him right. That'd be better.
I'm not so we're going to do it all at one time, so I say I, state your name, then you can do that. So please raise your right
It's got to be in harmony, though.
hand. I state your name.
I, Charles Spencer,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
solemnly swear and confirm
that I will support,
that I will support,
obey,
obey,
and defend the Constitution
and defend the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of the Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of the Commonwealth,
and that I will discharge the duties of
and I will discharge the duties of
Fire Police Officer
Fire Police Officer
for the Lower Paxton Township with fidelity.
for the Lower Paxton Township with fidelity.
Terrific, thank you.
Yay.
Fire Police, and now you're just reaffirming?
Yeah.
Oh, you're new? Okay, well, welcome. Okay, Sam, would you like to?
Well, I've been a member of Colonial Park Fire Company for 61 years now. First 32 I spent fighting fire. The last 29 I've been a fire police officer.
Well, thank you so much, we appreciate it. Board, do you want to come down? We'd like to get some
Sure.
pictures.
Absolutely.
Hides a lot of grievances. Wear khakis. Yeah, and iron on it. You have to grease. Oh, yeah. Will be joining us. We can, because we'll go back to the meeting, we can just go over there. All right, thanks.
Turn sideways.
Come in just a little bit. All right, look this way. Take one more and this one more. All right, thank you all very much. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Congratulations, thank you, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks.
So I signed you.
Thank you. Congratulations. 61 years, that's tremendous. Thank you. Thank you. You're welcome.
Be busy.
You're gonna retire twice.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the other gentleman that was standing up there with us was our deputy fire chief, Brett Graham. He came with us a year ago, January. Yes, great. Okay. All right. Congratulations, guys. Now, we have an action to approve a catastrophic losses reimbursement request from the Colonial Park Fire Company. Mr. Gutschall.
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, before you this evening is a memo by Director Koshiba. From time to time, fortunately not often, but from time to time, the Public Safety Committee does forward to the board official recommendation with regard to reimbursement of maintenance or repairs of our fire apparatus due to, as we've titled, catastrophic losses. And that really just means that it's obviously, number one, unanticipated, unbudgeted repair that is required as a result of some sort of either mechanical failure or accident of some sort. And so the Public Safety Committee did vote to direct the board, direct to the board a recommendation to have reimbursed two catastrophic loss reimbursements, one in the amount of $9,947.88, and the other in the amount of $7,467.71. And both of those are for the Colonial Park Fire Company.
Wow. Okay. Do I have any questions from the board?
How did these catastrophic things occur? I mean, that's the first I've heard of this.
Yeah. Luckily, it is the first time, I think, maybe.
Yeah, we have paid for stuff
Gonna
that-
say,
on the
think,
fire trucks, yeah.
I think during my tenure here, 5 years, I believe I recall the board getting one of these requests before. So it doesn't happen often, but again, if an accident occurs out, you know, while a piece of apparatus is out and the truck gets hit by another vehicle, or the vehicle backs into, you know, a structure or something, unfortunately, these repairs are quite costly. You know, even the most minor of accident does cost a lot of money when you're talking about $1 million fire apparatus. So, and just to say that these reimbursements do come out of the fire capital fund, not the general fund. So
But we don't turn them into the insurance company when you have damage of this amount? So you might be telling me that not all of them are an accident. There could be other stuff that went wrong with the fire truck.
Brett, you can answer that?
yeah, see, there he is.
Come up to the mic, Brett.
So these two specific bills, the first one is for the pumper truck at Colonial Park, which is actually aging, and we're currently working on some proposals to possibly replace it because it's getting to the end of its life cycle. It had catastrophic motor work done.
Okay.
Which is why the bill is as high as it is, which then fits into the ordinance that was put in place a few years ago to handle that. The other one is actually for the tower truck. There was an issue there was arguably a manufacturer defect in the lift cylinders that actually lift the boom of the ladder truck. When they tore it apart, there was some discrepancy about whether it truly was a defect or not. The manufacturer came back and said, look, we'll cover half the bill if you guys cover the other half. But again, another very costly repair, which fits under the ordinance that we would handle it since we own the apparatus. So that's where that came from.
So that tower truck's only what, maybe 3 years old?
Yeah, correct.
Or at
But-
the most?
Yep. So sometimes there's just, with the hydraulic systems and things like that, there's things that come up that, go beyond the general preventative maintenance.
And what about warranty work?
Yep. So, and that's why they picked up half of the cost, and working with Colonial Park and dealing with the manufacturer themselves. What they found wrong with it was kind of outside of the norm. And it couldn't be pinpointed to any one specific incident. So they agreed to pick up half the bill. It was supposed to be, I think it came out to work covering, was it 9,000 something, Brad?
The first one.
Yeah.
The initial bill was 11,000.
Yeah, so that 11,000, it was actually double that. But we kind of worked out with them. They picked up half of it, and we were left holding the bag for the other half. So
Okay, so the 9,000 was for the pumper that's on its way out.
I would have to look at it. I don't have
Okay,
them
and
in
the
front of me.
7, yeah, because I'm trying to figure out, you're saying double, but yet you mentioned 11,000. So I'm trying to figure out, we have a $9,000 bill and a $7,000 bill.
Yeah, so it doesn't exactly match up. When we talked through it, it had to do with labor rates and cutting things in half, that the invoice itself actually does not completely align. And I forget what the exact reasoning for it was, but we ended up paying less than half of that 11,000. It was 9 something as opposed to the 11 that's in the invoice. So we actually kind of made out a little better in the deal.
Brett, the pumper, you said it's on its last legs. Why do we want to put that much money into something that's on its last legs?
So the problem that we have right now is all the apparatus manufacturers are about a 4-year turnaround time. So if we would order a replacement piece today, we're not going to see it for another 4 years. So we have to take steps at this point to keep the stuff in service. COVID really drove a huge change in the fire apparatus manufacturer industry, and all of the manufacturers are kind of, I don't know how much you know, I mean, you guys have been a part of it, but they're all special built. There's not a car lot where you go buy fire trucks
Right.
per se, but they're all 3-4 years out right now. So we're working on the back end. We'll have a presentation, not get cart before the horse, but yeah, it's just that, I hate to say it this way, but it's kind of the cost of doing business at this point.
Right.
These hydraulic things that had a unusual occurrence, what is the normal warranty on those?
It's, I think, on a case-by-case basis. I wasn't a part of building that piece, so I'm not 100% sure what the written warranty on that was. But generally, when you take delivery, you have about a year. Again, very different than a regular car warranty or a regular, manufacturer's coverage. And when they build these fire trucks, they're using parts from all kinds of different vendors, if you will. They're that customized, so a lot of times you end up dealing with those specific vendors themselves, and that's kind of where we got into a back and forth a little bit, because the manufacturer of the fire truck kind of saw where we were coming from, whereas the manufacturer for the lift cylinder was saying, no, that's normal wear and tear. You guys are, kind of on the hook for that. The manufacturer understood where we were coming from, and they met us halfway to pay half the bill so that we weren't stuck holding all of it, because, again, it is, that unit itself, I think, is a 2019, so it's fairly new.
To the tune of, I think we paid, what, 800,000 or 900,000?
That one today would be about $2 million, yes.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah, it hurts.
yeah.
So
Well,
hopefully that answers your
rest
question. They're
assured,
not
rest
accidents,
assured
yeah.
that we have pumpers in the other, Lingelstown and Paxton, you have pumpers,
nothing-
so we're all taken care of.
Yep, nothing's out of service right now.
Yeah.
We have adequate coverage. Everything's back and back in service. That ladder truck was out of service for about a month getting those repairs done, because it was pretty extensive. But it's been back since, I think it was early December, so it's been a little bit.
Did that one come from out in Wisconsin?
Yes, yep.
Okay. So did somebody come in here to repair?
So they have a repair center in New Holland.
Oh, okay.
Is
Oh,
where the dealer's
okay.
at for them. So
Great.
it was in New Holland for about a month.
Okay. Well, and we have 2 others, so we're good to go.
Yep.
So, good. Okay. Cool. You okay? Do I have any other board member comments?
No.
Yeah.
I just feel that, Brett, does that company have the monopoly on fire trucks if we need one down the road? Or can we use somebody else that,
So I don't know that I'd say they have a monopoly. There are a number of manufacturers that are out there. There's, we'd say just like Ford and Chevy, there's preferences, and some people would argue that one builds a better product than the other. But that's something we'll definitely have to weigh out when.
well, in the future, I'd like a product that lasts a little bit longer, that we don't have to put that many thousands of dollars in a vehicle that's not that old.
Yeah, and I mean, when you're looking at specifically the motor work, they're all using the same manufacturers of engines, that sort of thing. When it comes to the lift cylinders on the aerials and that sort of stuff, I can't say for certain, but I'm sure they're all kind of using the same similar lift cylinders. There's only so many manufacturers of those. It's no different than, like when a Chevy puts a steering box into a car, versus a Ford, that sort of thing. So, unfortunately, sometimes it's just kind of what you're left holding the bag on, I suppose.
Is that a KME or a Seagrave?
That one's a Seagrave.
Seagrave, okay.
But the engine that was a KME. So we have a little bit of a mixed bag of what we have right now.
Right.
And really, they all have their demons.
Yeah, if we could look for a little longer warranty,
Yeah, well,
for the amount of money that you're spending, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
For the benefit of the residents, we need our apparatus in good running condition. And that's the only
I agree.
reason I'd be in favor of this.
Okay. Do I have any comments from the public? Mr. Miller?
Stand up again.
You have to go back up again.
I'm just curious, have they ordered the equipment for the new firehouse yet?
Can you come up to the podium, because we're on TV, so everybody
Oh.
wants to hear.
In regard to the new firehouse, have they, we're going to build the new firehouse allegedly down here in the end of Dairy Street. It's calling for a recommendation for another firehouse, was it not? For the 242nd response time, Mr. Misker, you might know that.
Yeah, I don't know that. Mr. Gutschall?
I know Susquehanna Township is in the process of discussing a new fire station. Is that?
That came up at one of the meetings, I thought.
In the recommendation that came back,
You know what, Brett, you're going to have to come up because of being on TV. That's okay.
I think what he's referring to is the recommendation in the MRI study that said that we should have a fourth fire
Oh,
station.
the fire
in the
study,
lower-
okay, yeah,
Yep, at this point, we don't have any formal plans to
I was
to move forward
mistaken,
with that.
yeah.
These
I
are
rescind my
existing-
comments.
No worries.
Okay, thanks.
Starting rumors. I heard that.
Yeah, that was in the fire study, yeah. Okay. With that said, do I have a motion to approve a catastrophic losses reimbursement request from the Colonial Park Fire Company, $9,967.88, and another one for $7,467.71. Do I have a motion?
Reluctantly moved.
Second?
I second the motion reluctantly.
All in favor?
Aye.
Brett, I think you have your work cut out for you. Thank you. Okay. Subdivision and land development. Our next one is to affirm a preliminary final subdivision and lot addition for 2150 Parkway West, Plan 23-05. Mrs. Irby.
Good evening, board members. This plan came before the board at the April 4th, 2023 meeting and was conditionally approved. All conditions of the plan were met. However, the Stokes did not record the plan within the 90 days allotted to record after satisfying the conditions. The applicant is merely requesting a reaffirmation of the previously approved plan so that they may record the plan in the Recorder of Deeds office. Nothing has changed with the plan since the time the board approved it in 2023.
Okay. Is there someone here for that plan to represent? No? Okay. Board, do you have any questions for Mrs. Irby?
So if it's not approved in 90 days, they got to start all over again?
They don't have to start all over again. It's just a condition of the plan. So if the plan is not recorded within 90 days of the last component of that conditional approval, they are to get a reaffirmation. And because they have satisfied all of the conditions more than 90 days, they need it to be reaffirmed.
Does that have anything to do with permits or additional fees or anything like that?
They did not take it to the recorder of the deeds office when they went and did it's a 3-step process. They did the first 2. They failed to do the last stage. And when they came in to do some other work, we realized that, so now it needs to be reaffirmed.
What if that doesn't happen this time, Amanda? If they don't get it in there within the 90 days?
They'll be here tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Okay. All righty. Do I have a motion to reaffirm a preliminary final subdivision and lot addition for 2150 Parkway West, Plan 23-05?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Action on a preliminary final subdivision land development plan for Wise Market Store, number 127, Plan 23-24. Mrs. Zerby.
Yes, this is the preliminary final subdivision land development plan for Wise Markets, Inc., store number 127. It proposes an expansion of the existing store and the construction of the Gas and Go fueling facility. Wise Market store number 127 is located at 4300 Linglestown Road. It has a total area of 10.772 acres. Wise Market also owns the undeveloped parcel to the east of the store, which has a total area of 9.386 acres. Both parcels owned by Wise will be consolidated to create a tract known as proposed Lot 1. Lot 1 will consist of 20.158 acres, which will allow for the expansion of the store and construction of the fueling facility. The proposed 11,575 square foot expansion will increase the size of the store from the current 45,125 square feet. Additionally, the Gas and Go fueling facility will include 6 fueling positions and will be located along the frontage of Linglestown Road. The site is located in the Commercial Neighborhood Zoning District, and the plan was approved at the February 7, 2024 Planning Commission meeting. This plan comes to the board tonight with only 4 administrative comments and 5 general comments. And there are several Wise representatives here that can answer any additional questions the board may have.
Okay, board, do you have any questions?
Yeah, you'll be entering the gas portion from a couple different locations, coming in off of Colonial as well as Linglestown?
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is Jim Preston. I'm the land use attorney. We enter the gas from internally, from the lot itself. It doesn't communicate with the roads, if that answers your question.
I mean, Gas and Go, is that a brand name, or is that just whoever's available to fill your tanks?
It's our brand.
It is. Just out of curiosity, is that a top-tier fuel?
Not sure I understand.
It's a certification by the government of certain chemicals that keep an engine clean.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
I think Rutter's is, for example, top tier.
I believe so.
How many gas fueling areas will there be?
There's 3 towers that are double-sided, so it would be 6 stations, I guess you would call it.
Is there anybody from the audience that would like to ask any questions in reference to the Wise Market plan? No? Board members? Ms. Thompson?
Is it going to be set up like the the sheets across?
Yeah, you have to put it in front of you, hon. There
Is
you
it
go.
going to be set up like the Sheets across the street? Sheets has the convenience store. Or is it going to be set up more like the Giant down the road?
I think it's more like, Ms. Thompson, let me do this. We have our project engineer, Joe Gurney, and we have the plan over here, and I'm going to ask him to explain you exactly how it's laid out, if that's okay.
Good evening, Joe Gurney with First Capital Engineering, and I'll reiterate what Mr. Preston said. 6 fueling positions, 3 pumps, double-sided, so 3 pumps, 6 sides. No access to Linglestown, and Sheets obviously has a large 6,500 square foot convenience store. This will have a 200 square foot kiosk with one attendant. So no, it will not be like Sheets.
More like
More like
Giant?
Like
correct.
Giant.
All right.
Okay.
And how big will your footprint be extending for the grocery store?
The expansion for the grocery store will expand it to the west, and it's a little over 15,000 square feet, which gives us a 57,700 square foot store with 44,000 square feet open to the public or retail space within that 55,000 square foot footprint.
You'll get your steps in when you're walking that store.
I'm sure that's built into the market. Yeah, sure.
And there's a lot of comments from our fire and our engineer. Are you guys okay with all those?
We got one comment from the fire, and we added the fire hydrant at the rear of the building as they requested, yes.
So Amanda, all the staff is okay with all of the comments and that they're following through with everything?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay.
This is an off-the-wall question, but Weiss has a program now where you get points for purchasing, and then you can use it at Sunoco. So will that program go away, and you can use, will you still have points built up that you can use for stop and go?
I'm Jack O'Hara with Wise Markets. You'll still earn points. You get a point for every dollar of groceries you purchase. And we do still have a program with Sunoco, so some of that will remain in place at this point. But you will be able to redeem the points at the Gas and Go.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Will you automatically get those points and you can just put your card in, or will you have to redeem online? Because I think now with the Sunoco, I think you have to redeem them online.
I don't think so.
No?
I think you
Okay.
take
You redeem
your
it at the
Weiss
pump.
card and you scan it at the Sunoco
Okay.
station.
I've never
Yeah.
done it because I
Me neither.
thought it
I
had to
read
be
it.
done online.
No, you
Okay.
you present your Wise rewards card.
Okay.
And it'll tell you how. It'll prompt you if you want to use points, if you have enough points to redeem.
Okay. Okay. Do I have any other questions for with the board? Do you guys have any questions for us? I'm glad you all came because you each had to speak.
Just in case.
Okay, with that said, do I have a motion to accept the preliminary final subdivision land development plan for Wise Market Store number 127, Plan 23-24?
Yeah, so moved.
Do I have a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you, and welcome to the township. Okay. Improvement guarantees. We have, I think there's 3. We have 3 of them. 785 North 67th Street, UPMC, and 5909 Eschenauer Drive. Do I have any questions from the board? No questions? Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the improvement guarantees?
I move that we approve the improvement guarantees as read.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Payment of bills, Lower Paxton Township Authority. Ms. Thompson, you will in place of Mr. Navarro tonight.
I make a motion that we approve the payment of the bills for Lower Paxton Township Authority
Okay, and Lower Paxton Township.
and Lower Paxton,
Yeah.
and Lower Paxton
Yes,
Township.
great, thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. Announcement, board members, do we have any announcements? Okay. We did have a house fire this morning in our township, so please keep the family in your prayers. Appreciate it. Okay, with that said, Lower Paxton Township Board of Supervisors meeting is adjourned, and thank you all for coming.